got for you? Enjoy your sandwich there. Now.
One of the top highway officers for East Texas, worked with the ATF, the DEA, the FBI, has now come over to the side of the light and good. Barry Cooper.
Wow. We're having several films shot for our third film, 50/50, so if y'all could clap again for me real loud. See, huh? I told you I'd give us a clap for me. My name is Barry Cooper, and this is my wife. I'm having an affair with her, by the way. You see us kissing. Stand up. Woo! You come down. She is hot. I'd like to recognize a couple other people real quick. We have Gary Reject. Please stand. He's our executive director. I'll explain that in a moment. And then we have Jason Osborne. Where'd you go? Please stand, Jason. Jason is he's our executive producer for Never Get Rated, the second film I'm about to release. I'm Barry Cooper. I grew up in the deep woods of East Texas and the beaches of California. It's kind of an odd mixture. My father was in the military, and we grew up what I call redneck. And we were taught to obey government's rules at all costs, adults' rules at all costs. And it led to me becoming a police officer. I worked 8 years as a narcotics officer. I have over 800 felony and misdemeanor narcotics arrests accredited to me only. I know, I heard the boos and I deserve that. I worked joint operations with the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, U.S. Border Patrol, U.S. Customs. I worked every drug, good to see you. I worked every drug operation you could imagine, including undercover operations. I've ran over 100 search warrants. My specialty was highway interdiction with the K-9 team. It didn't take long before I began teaching classes all over the state of Texas to other cops to teach them how to interdict drugs. So, due to political pressures and maturity, I quit being a cop and I began to build and sell businesses. And as I did this, I grew. I grew in compassion. I grew in understanding. I grew in wisdom. I had a family of my own. And then I became the target of botched arrests. They put me in jail for not returning 2 DVDs on time. Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2. I know, I deserve to go to jail for my choice of movies. So after leaving law enforcement and living life and maturing, I realized the harms that I caused on families by breaking into their homes at 3 o'clock in the morning, wearing raid gear and carrying machine guns and tossing flash grenades around to terrify and separate the parents from their kids by putting the parents in jail and sending the kids to a state agency. I realized that harm on families was much greater than the harm of just letting them do the drugs. So I put together a DVD titled Never Get Busted, Traffic Stops Volume 1. And when Candy and I were pillow talking this idea, we thought we advertise at High Times and help the marijuana smokers in the U.S. avoid being arrested. When the story first leaked of what I was doing, the film was not completed. Yet the Associated Press ran a story, so instantly Candy and I woke up one morning with a helicopter flying over our house and every news media you could imagine wanting to interview me. A long story short, I've done over 200 TV and radio interviews in the last year. We launched that film December 25th last year. Been on nearly every Fox channel you could imagine, including Geraldo at Large. And Candy and I, with very little media training, had to learn really quick what the media was about. So that film and our efforts is what has given us the national voice. And everybody thought it was going to be an ex-pothead cop screaming, "Oh, heck with the police," on the video. Well, they were surprised because it's not that at all. How many of you in here have seen the film?
You're going to stay out.
As I said, I grew up on the beaches in California and the deep woods of East Texas. I've been through 2 divorces. We have 4 kids now that live with us, all straight-A students, very popular wherever they go. I've been through a bankruptcy. I went to jail. I put people in jail. I know what it's like to be flat broke and a half a millionaire. I was at one time in my life, and everything in between. So I've lived life. I certainly have more to learn, but I've been through a lot, and I do understand now that compassion and reasoning and logic, character qualities of love and kindness, should be the ruling and the reigning factor in a human being and not a set of government laws. I'm currently the CEO of the company Never Get Busted, and I announced 2 weeks ago I'm running for U.S. Congress, District 31 in Texas. So it's not so political. You know, on the plane coming up here, I wondered what I was going to tell you people of New Hampshire during a time our country's at war. I wondered what I would say to you people at a time that we rank 42nd in literacy in the world. I wondered what I was going to say to you during a time when police show up at a scene looking who they can arrest and not who they can protect. I wondered what I would come into this room and say to you at a time when prosecutors are promising lighter jail sentences in exchange for a promise to not fight cash and asset forfeitures in the war on drugs. We're living in a time that judges are rubber stamping warrants with a hand of arrogance instead of compassion. I wondered what I was going to say to you in a time in America when 830,000 people per year face being raped or stabbed in a jail because they were in possession of a plant. I wondered what I would say to you in a time in America when Mark Penn, a great political strategist, reports in his book that we are now releasing 700,000 American citizens, our countrymen, into the population from our jails. I wondered what I was going to say to you when we live in a country that's not free any longer like we've been told. We incarcerate more people per capita than any other country in the world. The criminal justice system, the system by which we prosecute our countrymen, has gone amok.